Thank you, everybody, for tuning in again to Coder Conversations. If you want to catch up on our older episodes, visit us at www.coderconvos.com. We have a returning guest. Welcome back to the show, Gustavo Costa.
Hey, hello everybody. Thank you for having me back. Super excited to be coming back. I had a really good time. Great talk
Yeah.
last time. Thank you, Brian. Thank you,
Yeah,
Kevin,
absolutely. It's
for
great to have you back on tonight.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a while since you've come back. So, like, what's been new with you? What's been going on?
I've been doing a lot of things. I think last time I was just hinting at projects that I was about to open. We did launch Gus Pro. It's not a product or anything. Not doing any sales pitches. Do not come looking for it. We don't have a product, but
Yeah.
it's my brand. I wanted to finally get my name kind of recognized a little bit. I've done on many projects in my life. I have a team that is a rock star team. Very very strong team that I put together. Well, I didn't put together. We kind of just happened to like run into each other, work together, and then all of a sudden realizing we do very good together. So the team kind of everybody's kind of equal. Like I always tell people, it's like there's no CEO. The name is the name of the company has my name on it, but that's just because that's the name we gave to the octopus.
Yeah.
The octopus was the other person's idea, so it's a little bit of everybody. It's not just my idea.
Yeah.
The color selection was somebody else. So we all came together to design the whole entire logo. But I really wanted to get something that I could wear proudly, call it my own. I do a lot of volunteer projects, helping people. Food trucks that I do marketing,
That's
social media
great.
for. I work with bands. I've been working with bands. I don't know if you've seen some of my posts. I've been singing. They've been trying to get me up on stage. It's been horrible. I do not have a voice for singing,
Yeah.
but for whatever reason, they keep bringing me up on stage and making me sing. So I try to wear the logo. I wear I made some t-shirts, some
Oh,
some
nice.
swag. Um, so it's fun to get a little bit of my brand out there, even if it doesn't have a point just yet. It's just the
Little,
start.
yeah, little by little at first.
Yeah, but definitely been trying to always grow, always learn. Picked up a new job as an interpreter, um, um, mainly because part of my project that I announced this before. I couldn't talk about it last time I was here. Now I can definitely talk about it. Um, Part of my project is educational, so I already put stuff out there, teaching people how to do certain things, how to get in certain job industry, gaming industry being one of
Okay.
them. I am 16 years into it, so I definitely can talk about it freely and expertly in any position. um, so I wanted to make sure to start all those projects, and again, always putting my brand, getting people to see, hey, that's a respectable vet brand. He looks for professionals. He only talks to professionals in order to make his content. I want to make sure people see that logo, see the octopus. It reflects good content, at least quality content,
Positively.
which
Yeah.
is yeah, yeah. And then part of it is educational. I'm probably never going to join the medical field, so I thought the closest I could get is getting interpreter job. I will learn at least the beginning of it, without going too deeply into
Right,
it.
right.
Um, with law, with legal. I'm not going to do a lawyer. I don't have the time to put in to all these things plus studying for lawyer, to be a lawyer or a medical. So as close as I can get to help
Yeah.
those fields, I would like to do that.
Okay.
So we do have projects with the police, uh, with things like that, which is very fun. OC Gripped. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I love that project, and I would like to make it nationwide. So I do have all of that very exciting uh, uh, things coming up, and I'm excited that I was able to finally open my mouth about it because I've been holding back on like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
Awesome.
You have a ton on your plate, man. How are you prioritizing everything?
Whatever pays the bills first, unfortunately, because Man, Austin's been rough, man. It's been expensive. It's been getting expensive over here. Like I've considered moving out of here back in November. I think when we talked, I was like, I don't know if I'll where I'll be. I don't have no idea. But my only other good option where I could have my contacts and actually continue to grow was in LA.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't want to go to LA because it's even more expensive. And I'm like,
Right.
the more expensive the cost of living is going to be, the less time I have for these projects I want to work on, and I do want to prioritize my projects. So for me, I'm like, okay, I'll go to Austin. It's cheaper. I have friends. I have people that I can start doing the interviews and the
Okay.
learning
Yeah.
from. So started talking to a bunch of bars. So there are certain regions here. I'm doing my work, guys. I'm going to bars because I'm actually working. Okay, relax.
Just so
But
I'm still
network with
working.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, networked with them, did a bunch of promotions, did some partnership with the food areas.
Okay.
I mastered a little bit my networking skills and my negotiation skills, which I really wanted to practice. And everybody it's kind of funny because people know who I am. They think I'm the owner of the
Yeah.
food trucks. They're like, oh yeah, no, that guy right there, that's the owner of that food truck. I'm like, no, I'm not. Please stop telling people I own anything. I don't own anything. But everybody kind of knows me and like already sees my face and they know that is there. Somebody's having a problem, they'll come see me.
Okay.
They won't go see the owner. They won't see, the
Yeah.
owner's there, but he'll come see me and not the owner.
Interesting.
And then the owner jokes about, we had a Trail of the Lights. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a really cool event that Austin, puts together, the city. And we had one of the trucks in there, and the owner calls me like, "Are you here?" I'm like, "No." It's like, "I had 4 people saying Gus sent you." Pull up on a truck. I'm like, "I'm not there, I promise." So it's like it's kind of funny that it works. You can tell that the networking is working. What I've been doing is working because people are talking. Talking is good. That's free publicity. Mouth to mouth marketing. It helps, and everybody's been thanking me with a lot of food and alcohol apparently for their sales are going up. They're seeing results. They're immediately seeing results just from the little time
Oh,
that I've
wow.
been back. And also, yeah. So we'll see. I've got even more plans for them. We have some events coming up. I'm bringing worlds together. Dance with school, and we have one called Gringas, which is the girls that are Brazilian that live outside of Brazil or in America more specifically. So I've been working with them. I've been getting to know all the ambassadors. They have over 400 of them. So I'm taking my time, but I'm trying to build projects with them, working side by side with them. Trying to grow that relationship. So yeah, been busy.
It's funny you mention Austin being expensive because I remember back in the day, like say 20 years ago, Austin was really cheap.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I actually moved to Austin. I remember the offer I received. I won't name any names, but like the offer, I was going to do the same exact stuff that I was doing in my previous
Yeah.
company, and then they're like, yeah, we'll give you a 40% pay increase. I'm like, you do understand I'm like a really good person and I get paid over the top already. And they're like, that's fine. We'll still pay you 40% over. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, oh, and I get to move from LA to Austin. So that's probably another 20% cost of living decrease. I'm like, that's a 60% pay increase. I'm
wow.
like, I'm in, let's go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I was very happy. Which
Well, I heard the
again,
housing
it gave
market
me
is starting
time.
to tip a dive out there.
Yes. But that I don't know if you've seen it, but all the like downtown, there's like 5 cranes there. Rainy Street has about 3 cranes up there. They're just building these skyscrapers, humongous buildings. And if you go talk to them, and I have been talking to them because it's part of what I've been doing, they're like, oh yeah, no, none of the apartments are for sale. We're selling by the floor.
Wow.
So there's like 6 or 8 apartment on each one, and they're selling 3-4 floors at a time to investors. And I'm like,
Wow.
what? So there's not even people living there. It's just people are buying for temporary
Office
rentals.
space.
Oh office space, and I'm like, are you serious right now? Like this is what Austin's become, and
Well, yeah, because the tech
funny enough,
industry has invaded Austin.
yes, and that's what I was going to bring up now, which is hilarious because everybody's like, oh no, it's going to be the second of Silicon Valley, right? Oh my God, this is going to be great.
I mean, it's more so known.
All the
Like I know Austin for music. I've always like I'm a
yep,
musician. I've always known Austin to be like a very cheap place, a very musical place that's very friendly to musicians. So like now everything's changing. You have all these tech people coming in, and like you're saying, now you're starting to see prices increase in rent.
yep. And the funny thing is, so it was supposed to be the second of Silicon Valley. So you got all these big names coming over here, and I'm like, okay, this is exciting. Problem is, I was trying to buy a house. We have a website that you look at house in the area. You can favorite a couple of them to keep an eye on them. When they started announcing that they were coming over here, all the listings that I was looking at that were about $200,000 or $250,000 disappeared. And I'm like, man, so I wonder if it was, every single one that I wanted got bought.
Oh wow.
About 3 weeks later, they all come back. The cheapest one in my favorites was about $450 or $450,000. I'm like, what? They just doubled all the prices of the houses I
Wow.
wanted.
Yes.
So obviously didn't buy one.
Have you looked into like Round Rock
um,
or any of the surrounding areas? I'm guessing it's just as expensive.
Round Rock is doing a little bit better. I'm actually in Leander right now, so I'm right in the division of Cedar Park and Leander, which is still a decent price area. But if you go up a little bit more towards Georgetown, you're going to see some really nice areas, big houses. The old school, 16 by 18 plus master bedrooms, which you don't make anymore. You don't see them anymore, for still a good affordable price. But now you're talking about Georgetown. Now you're away from downtown by about 35 to 40 minutes, and this before people move in. All these buildings start getting people because as Austin stretches north and south, which it will continue to expand south next year, September of next year, or this year. I'm sorry, we're already in 2025. I don't know what happened. So as it continues to expand, people that are at the very tip of the north and the tip of the south, they now need to get to the middle, and all the freeways are going to be extremely packed, which that 40-minute drive is going to be start looking at like LA time, an hour and 40 minutes.
Like the 405. Yeah.
And it's going to happen because president comes into town, he closes the main freeway, so the other ones become extremely busy. You cannot move. It is you. I've actually had my car on park for 2 hours in 183 because there was an accident, and then nobody could move, and every other freeway was closed off or blocked. Oh yeah, Austin really can't handle the way it is right now. It can't handle the amount of people,
the growth
that we're building for.
It can't handle the growth. You're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think Austin and San Antonio, they're pretty much going to merge soon. They're going to be side by side.
Oh, absolutely. San Marcos pretty much is part of Austin now.
Right.
it's like when somebody tells you, hey, can you give me a ride to San Marcos, or hey, let's go do a really fun 4-hour lazy river, the natural lazy river. Before you'd say, oh, it's in another city, it's in San Marcos. Now it's just like, hey, it's 20 minutes away. Let's go. It's just down the street. It's just, yeah. Austin is now growing quite significantly, but it's funny because I feel like now that's scaring a lot of people away. Especially tech companies, they're like, oh, maybe this isn't a good idea. Let's just stay here in the LA area. In the original Silicon Valley, all the way up to south of San Francisco, because it's expensive there. It's going to be expensive here. We might as well just stay.
Yeah.
But Austin jumped on that so fast, and exactly what you did. That it's known for music. Austin clearly jumped on that. They pretty much tripled their police force in all the shows. They've redone all the parking lots they've redone all the Uber, rideshare drop offs. So that now it's actually more convenient. Before it
I
was just
see.
chaotic. Um, and now they made it a thing. So there's always a show in Moody Center. There's always a show in Q2 or a game in Q2. There's always a game, the convention going on in the convention center. So you're walking around with people wearing jerseys because they just went to the game, down in the bars. Um, and the person right next to them is wearing a Naruto costume because they just came from the convention center. And it's just like all these things happening at the same time in
Oh
Austin.
wow.
Um, hotels completely booked. All the hotel prices went up. Um, so like because it became a tourist thing. Like people come over. If you stop somebody
Supply
in
and
the Congress
demand,
Street
right?
main,
Supply and demand.
yeah. If you stop anybody in Congress right now, unless it's a homeless person, I can almost guarantee you're going to find out somebody that doesn't live here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everybody there is just a bunch of tourists.
And it's going to get even more insane since they announced what is it, Operation Starlink. Like Trump and all the big tech
Mhm.
CEOs, they're going to invest like 500 billion, and a lot of the data centers are going to be built in Texas somewhere.
I refuse to listen to Elon until he paves his parking lot at the mega station, at the giga station.
Where is that Tesla factory at? I forget where. I know it's somewhere out there around Austin.
Yeah, yeah, it's just outside of the city, right outside of like 15 minutes from maybe a little bit more, 20 minutes from downtown. It's just outside. It's right next to the freeway, and it's funny because I always tell people it's like, hey, you're there because you don't need to read the signs. It's a 24-hour, or I'm sorry, it's a 24 mile per hour speed limit area because I've never seen 24. Like, why not 25?
Right.
What
right.
happened here? Like,
what's,
what
what's
what
going
happened to
on?
that 1 mile per
What's going
hour?
on here?
And you get about a block of concrete. The rest is dirt road, and I'm like, what? Like, are we just testing the Cybertrucks as they come out? Because like I don't understand why is there no, why did we not pave
Right.
this? But it's kind of funny. I give them a hard time. I actually did Uber in the end of the year. And what I did is because I do have the nice Mustang. I want to I wouldn't do Uber X. I would only do Comfort, Premium, and above.
Right.
And I got to meet a bunch of really interesting people, which is great. The CEO of Kind, the energy
yeah.
bar.
Right. Those bars.
Yeah. So I met a bunch of people, which was a really cool experience. I'm like, you know what? I kind of might pull Uber every once in a while just so I can get some networking done.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin has a story about one of his friends. He's a software engineer. He had a low period, a down period where he didn't really have like software engineering roles. So he started driving Uber, and he just so happened to pick up a guy that works for Google. And the guy really liked him. And he's like, hey, I'm going to get you a job at Google. And he's like, no way. He's like, yeah, I'm really going to get you a job there. And he did. So, yeah, definitely the networking ability through Uber is real.
Yeah, I actually picked up somebody. I won't say the channel, but a TV channel producer, and they put me in contact with a team of camera crew because I pitched a idea that I wanted to do one of my projects, and it's kind of like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Your camera crew is kind of following him do his job.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God, we need to do it. Here, call this number and tell him you met me and you want to do it. I'm like, okay, calm down. So it's
easy there.
It's great. You meet really good people and they get really excited.
That's awesome.
But yeah, every time I did pick up somebody over at the Giga station. I always had my fun. I'm a Mustang Ford
Sure.
person. So I love giving Cybertrucks a hard time, and I'm like, hey, can you explain Cybertruck to me? You fall in the water, how do you get out? You can't break the glass. And he's like, I'm like, well, I just want answers. That's all I want. Give me answers.
Yeah, I think Uber is an underrated networking opportunity. Like you can meet so many people, but I can't do it because I have a Camaro. So I could do Uber Eats, but
Oh, yeah, the two door. You
yeah.
can't. Yeah, yeah. Mine's the SUV version, so it
Oh
has
man.
the the nice leather seat, so I can do comfort. Although, don't tell Uber they shouldn't let me do comfort because those suspensions are sport suspensions. They are tight. Any little bump, you will feel it. So it's not as comfortable as you
Ah, I
want to
see.
fit. It was built. It was built for speed. Like, and it's fun because I get additional tips and 5-star rating because everybody wants to feel the torque, right? And I'm
Right.
like, okay, if you're ready for it, and
Yeah.
I'm here getting 5 stars, and the guy drives like a beast. Is amazing. And then meanwhile, Uber's sending me, automated messages. Please don't accelerate. You might lose stars. And I'm
What?
like, what? Like,
Oh yeah, that is
Uber, go
crazy.
back to your corner. Don't talk to me.
Yeah, right. Get out of here.
Yeah, they send all your car information to Uber, right? Like how fast you're going, how fast you're
Yep.
accelerating.
hmm Yeah, but I always laugh at that because I'm like legit. The guy wanted me to.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I had one guy that I told him hey, this car is electric. He's like, no, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, can you hear the motor? And he's like, well, it's just very quiet. And I'm like, okay. So I turned on because it does have engine sound. So I turned it on. He's like, see, I told you there's the engine sound. You just weren't accelerating. And I'm like, no, I'm just giving you a hard time. I turned it on. I showed him my turning it off. He still didn't believe me. And I'm like, got out of the car, I popped the trunk, and I'm like, you see, this is a
Yeah.
cooler. There's no motor in here.
Yeah.
So,
He's like,
I mean, if somebody's trying to get into Uber, how do you recommend they effectively market? Because I know some people don't want to talk, and you don't want to say the wrong thing.
Mhm. Yeah. So all the ride shares that I've been seeing, I feel like people post the wrong information. I went after how is the best way to get more rides, better rides,
Right.
and I'll tell you right now, Uber sends you a congratulation, at the month for certain things, and I've been usually 25% or more best earnings in Austin. So
Oh,
like
wow.
I know what I'm doing.
You're doing something right.
So I tell
Yeah,
people
yeah,
here's
yeah.
yeah, I tell people it's like the problem is anywhere you go, they're going to tell you the same exact thing. Go to the
Yep.
airports. Go to
Right.
this. Go to that. Airport has the right time to do it. Plus, if you know how to do it, there's something I call the bouncing. You will go to neighborhoods like Round Rock, like you were mentioning, Hutto, Round Rock, Leander. They're far away, but they're higher end. You go towards the higher end of those neighborhoods. What will happen is people going to the airport are gonna ask for a ride, and then you pick up the person there, you take them to the airport, and the way the rideshare work is if you get there and you add queue, you get into the wait queue. If you bring somebody in, you get into an express queue. Um, so it cuts line, it cuts that line. So you within 5 minutes you get another ride.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's a very good deal to do. And what you end up doing is a lot of those people are going downtown, right? Because all the
Yeah.
hotels are there. Um, and then you do sacrifice instead of riding back to the airport. Instead of 15 minutes, 20 minutes back to the airport, you take 15, 20 minutes going towards Round Rock and Leander
Yeah.
again because you're going to get more people going to the airport. And sooner or later, you will get somebody that goes
That's
to the airport.
smart. Yeah, that's definitely
Um,
smart.
eh, yeah, and you can check flight times. It's public, right? Even if you're not flying, you can check flight times. The gas station right next to the airport has a screen that shows incoming and outgoing flights, so you can see how busy it is. Even if you don't ride for Lyft, for example, you can still download the app because they have different hot zones, right? The dynamic zones. And if there's a dynamic there, if you're not already there, it's not worth going there. A lot of the people complain that by the time they're getting there, it's gone, and that's exactly correct. That is why they
Huh.
do it. They want more cars there. It's not necessarily that it's paying well; it's just they're trying to attract more cars
Right.
there. So that's when you don't go. So during events, well, yeah, I can go to the event, wait in line for 40 minutes to pick up one person that is going to pay me $15
Right.
dynamic, or I can go somewhere where it's far away from that event that there's no cars because everybody's at the event.
Right. Right.
And so I go to where there are no cars, where there's no incentive. Oh, but you're not getting dynamic, you're not getting anything. I'm still making, I was pulling in the beginning. I was pulling about 15 to 2,000 a week,
Wow.
which I don't think it's a bad deal.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really not bad at all.
Uh,
How many hours of
and I
driving?
don't chase search a full-time job. So like 40 hours, 40, 50 hours.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, you can't beat that, especially if you lose your
Yeah.
job.
And especially if you're doing it at your own pace. I wake up, I don't have I have to wake up at 4. Everybody's like, oh no, 4 o'clock. Yes, I'll tell you right now, 4 o'clock is an amazing time to drive. It is amazing.
Yep.
But you don't have to. There are other areas, like for example, I know Monday, Tuesday are people that broke their car over the weekend. They're going to be taking cars to dealerships. So right in Cedar Park, there's an area that has the most distributors or car dealerships, like the service areas, than anywhere else in Austin. What I do, I go right there because I know for a fact somebody's going to need to be taken home because they're going to leave their car and now they're going to have to Uber at home.
Right.
And that is Monday and Tuesday. It's usually the worst day of the week, but it's not terrible if you know exactly where to go. Colleges, community colleges. There are some community colleges in the outskirts that you just got to play it. You got to play it where people aren't going. There's nothing on the app telling you that's a good spot. There's no one. If you look right now, I will challenge anybody to go out there and look to see if anybody's telling anybody to go to community
Right.
colleges. No one's telling you to do that. So there are two reasons for that. Well, I have two explanations for that. Number one, when the person really knows how to make money, they're not really going to tell you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And number two, people just don't know. Some people just might not know. They might have thought, oh, it was a coincidence that I went there and there was somebody, but they don't know that during the exiting hours of normal school shifts, there will be somebody there that needs to be picked up because mom, pop couldn't pick them up. They missed the bus.
Yeah, there
are
will
many
be at
reasons.
least
Oh, there
one
need-
ride generated out of that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those, they don't have traffic because community college, there's no traffic. This isn't elementary school that mom needs to go inside and pick it up. You're not facing traffic. You're literally pulling up and picking the person up and getting out. So it's quick. It's let's get the things moving.
Right.
And another thing that people are very afraid of is accepting long trips. Probably not a great thing to say, but for example, I took somebody from a hotel to San Antonio, and I accepted an Uber. I don't care if Uber can get their part. I'm really not concerned about it. But I made a good rapport with this person. That this person actually gave me their number, and then we could I go to where they are, and then they order the Uber. And since I'm the closest high level person, high star person next to them, I'm assigned to them, right? Because I actually do want to be in the app anyways. I know people, just be outside the app. I'm like, I can't give them that much of a discount anyways. So I'd rather be in the app because I get benefits from doing the rides. So you got to remember, you do have bonuses from the device as well. For electric, if you do 200 electric rides in a month, you get an extra $200. Like it's little things that will add up. It's 1 or 2 rides that you're guaranteeing that it will add up. And on this case, she went to a college game.
Yeah.
I just Ubered for a little bit over there in San Antonio. I knew what time I had to pick her up. I came right back. She ordered. I was right there. I got her. She went actually 2 blocks down. We had a really good conversation, and she ordered it, and it obviously got me. I got the ride.
Nice.
So getting these big long trips is not always bad. And on that day, because she liked my service and that I was able to do it, and I actually even to get her away from where everybody's ordering so it doesn't cause any accident, I took her to Riverwalk. Riverwalk is beautiful, and I'm like, hey, check this place out. And then we ordered the Uber there. Just just this one customer, I made three hundred
Wow.
Wow.
dollars. It's like it's
It's
worth
worth
it,
it.
right?
Yeah.
It's like some people say, "Oh no, but you wasted what 5 hours?" I'm like, did I? I had a wonderful conversation with somebody that I connected. I have a content. If they're ever in town again, if I ever, if we talk about our plans, which we did, and it meets, and we think that we can work with each other. You networked. You stayed an hour and a half with somebody networking, pitching your
Yeah.
ideas. It's like I'm never gonna say that's a waste of time. Anybody that thinks that's a waste of time, they're probably Ubering for the next 3 to 4 years. I'm sorry. Like if you're not networking, you're losing
Exactly.
opportunity. Like there are many opportunities out there, and you will accidentally run into them. It's not a there's no perfect way. Oh, but I go to conventions and job fairs. I'm like, no,
Right.
grab a Uber. Go ride 3 people a day. Go turn off Uber X. Just go meet
Yeah.
somebody.
Just
It's like
start
you would be
start going to meet
amazed on
strangers. Yeah.
exactly. It's like go to places you wouldn't by doing that. I didn't know there was a karaoke right down the street, and I love karaoke. And I'm like, whoa, why is this here? Now I go there. I'm like, hey, this is amazing.
Yeah,
Oh,
when I
that's
was
fun.
driving Uber Eats, I discovered like so many new places. In terms of networking, you can't go where everybody else is, like a job fair. You're not going to stand out. So you're just riding along with this
Yep.
guy who's a hiring manager, and y'all hit it off. He's gonna, there's an opportunity for him to be like, hey, I want you to come, join me at my company or whatever.
Yeah. And then one of the other things that I learned is just like I think everything else. If you're getting to the point where you're getting mentally frustrated, you need to know how to take breaks. It's like, oh no, but I need to pay this bill in 3 days, and I need $400. Like if I stop right now, I won't make it. It's like stop right now. And it was funny because my best friend, I I feel kind of sorry for him because he's also my lawyer. So I'm sending him. I'm like, man, I don't know, I'm losing it. There was no rides. Sometimes there were some days that were just dead. It
Yeah.
was just like 40 minutes, no
Right.
one calling. And it was funny because he would yell at me. He'd be like, Gus, you already know this. And I'm like, what? He's like, go home. And I'm like, oh, you're right. I would go home, get a nice rest, come up, wake up the next day fresh, early, and okay, let me go pick up people, and you learn things like Sunday. Let's say Sunday, I learned all the church schedules because guess what? People are Ubering to
Oh
church.
yeah, for sure.
So and usually they're dressed nicely, so they don't want to any just raggedy old car. They're gonna pay comfort. They're gonna pay for the premium. So I'm like, the schedules. You need to be there. You have the 6 a.m. mass. You got the 9 a.m. mass. You got the you know I think we lost Brent.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah,
Uber's a godsend for like people who just need a little more flexibility. It saved a couple of my friends, and
yeah.
Uber Eats. It saved me. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a great thing. Like you don't if you can't talk to people, um, go eats, go package, go all these delivery services. But they don't pay as well. It's like okay, but you're you're not stressing yourself out because, like I was mentioning, if talking to people stress you out, it doesn't matter that you're getting paid more. You're not going to be able to do that job for very long, and it's going to stress you out. And then you're going to start getting less stars, less tips. So do something that doesn't stress you out.
Exactly.
Do what fits you.
Yeah, I found Uber Eats
Um,
actually kind of therapeutic. Like you can put on your little podcast and just pick up the food and drop it off, and all the while you're just taking a nice ride. So
yep. Yeah, I did enjoy. Um, so I'm a big food guy, right? Not because I'm fat or anything, but I do have I do like trying new restaurants. So back when I was in the gaming industry, I would travel the world, to do my things, and I would go try new restaurants, mom and pop shops. I loved them, um, but I don't get to do that very much anymore. So a lot of the times I find myself going back to the same exact locations here. But driving, I started, oh, hey, this seafood is really good. I'm like, really? I actually went to all you can eat sushi, which I love sushi, but I knew that place existed, but I took about two people there. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go, and was absolutely, I fell in love with the place, and I probably wouldn't have gone otherwise. Um, I knew about it. I kind of any all you can eat. I kind of go, I don't know, but this place was actually really good. So I was like, okay, well, and it's good. It's a good experience trying all the different restaurants and locations. I play golf, so I found a bunch of new golf courses. Um,
Yeah, I think like Uber Eats, that's also a good way to just earn enough money if you want to eat out for the day. Like you want to try a new restaurant, but you don't want to dip into your normal money, so you just do a little bit of driving around and earn enough to pay off that meal.
yeah, I've actually, so what I started doing is, so Friday is my cheat day, right? I'm like, whatever I can make driving on Friday is what I get to spend on the weekend to have a good time.
Right.
So go to a bar, go to a club, go to play golf, play a different sport, go to the beach, or not the beach, the lake. And that's my I guess we'll call it guilty money, right? Like, hey, Friday I made no no money. All the money is spent money.
Right. Man, I think a lot of people got to kind of get over the stigma of Uber, like, oh, I'm too good for it. Like, once I lost my software job, it helped keep me afloat. Uber Eats.
Yeah. And let's be honest here, right? We bringing back to technology here. I don't know if you've seen it, but Austin has those self-driving cars already. You can actually order a self-driving car
Oh
to
wow.
pick you up. Um, so we're not too very far away from all these ride shares becoming a little bit less um, desired, because obviously the prices will not be something that you can compare. So right now, actually, I think this month they're doing like free, which was terrible for for a rideshare. I mean, people are still scared, but how long would that last? Because I remember people saying that the self driving cars, even with a pilot, um, they wouldn't trust it. And look at now, like I see people, making videos of them sleeping while it's like slowly people are warming up to this, and it's not going to be very long until these ride shares and taxis get, I wouldn't say completely replaced. I don't think that will ever happen. um, Not in my generation. um, Maybe if you start doing drones, uh, automated drones, but I think the car side, I don't think people would trust it, especially while there are humans in the lane. Because it's not that they don't trust the machine that much. It's just they don't. A lot of people don't trust the interaction between the machine driving and the person driving right next to them.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of videos where the car would veer off into the other lane when it wasn't supposed to, like oncoming type of traffic. So I think people are still hesitant to fully trust automated driving.
Yeah, haven't there been
Yep.
accidents with self-driving cars?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I actually, one of the people that I took was telling me that during their test drive of their car, it smeared off, and it fell in the
Oh
ditch,
wow.
between the two lanes. I mean, they were safe, but I'm
Yeah.
like, and you went to the next car, right? He's like, no, I bought that one. I'm like, why? What? It's like, I just won't use the self drive. I'm like, why are you buying a self driving car if you're not going to
Well,
use it
Exactly.
then?
who's liable in
Like,
that case if it crashes into something or drives off a ditch? Is it like, say, Tesla or?
you still are. You still are. The driver is still responsible for everything that
Oh
happens in
wow.
the
Really?
car. Yep. It's so the excuse that people are doing, and I don't know if Elon completely went that way. But the manufacturers are saying, even the ones that are fully automated, they said we're not fully automated. No one will claim it. They'll say drive assist or
Yeah.
everything will be assistant, because the idea is, yeah, it can do everything, but it tells you, hey, you got to keep a hand on the wheel. And my car does that. Like if I take my hand out and let it drive by itself, it'll start beeping and like want me to hold on to the wheel. If I close my eyes, it actually has the cameras inside. If I close my eyes, it will actually beep and tell me to wake up. So it already knows that I shouldn't be doing other things. And I like that way more. Like, hey, I'm here to drive. I'm driving. I'm responsible for what happens. Now, self-driving is amazing because, for example, you're driving in Texas, and here I feel like the unspoken law is you got to drive 20 miles an hour over whatever it says on the sign. So everybody's just going, and you're trying to get to a different lane because you got to exit, and now you're in the left lane. You got to get to the right lane. People are going past you, slowing down, and you're looking, to your right, over your shoulder, making sure no blind spots, because people do pass on the right here. They don't care. There's don't only pass on the left. They'll pass on the right. So now you're focusing on that. Now the car in front of you slammed on the brakes, which they do because for whatever reason, I think they see ghosts and they're like, oh, I got to hit the brakes. I don't know. Driving here is chaotic. It's fun. So what the self-driving or the assistant driving allows me to do is now I'm looking at the lane I'm trying to get to and not forward. And if there's a problem forward, it will slow down for me. So I only have to focus in one task, making driving a lot more relaxing.
Right.
So, and even if I'm going and it feels like something's gonna hit me in the tail, like rear end, it'll beep and it'll tell me, it's like, hey, you're about to get hit, so you can accelerate. And actually I believe it does accelerate as well to try to avoid it, or we'll switch lanes. I haven't done the one from I haven't tested anything from behind yet in terms of like cars coming in too close, like tailgating me, or is that what it's called? Yeah, tailgate. Mainly because I also one of those people that will drive over 20 miles an hour. But yeah, so I'm no one's catching up to me from that. So, but I have multiple times had the actually even in downtown, it switched lanes to avoid a car for me to avoid an accident. The guy slammed on the brakes. I think I was like switching music or something. I was touching the computer screen, and I don't know if that activated that I wasn't like looking forward or it saw my eyes, and it actually moved out of the way for me. It actually swerved out of the way for me. So yeah, it was scary, but I was happy for it at the same time,
So the technology you'd say is getting there.
Oh, absolutely, and everybody will tell you the same. All the car companies are waiting for. We can't clone Tesla. That would be a no-no. But the Chinese are cloning Tesla, and then we'll clone the Chinese because that's okay. So everybody's waiting. No, and you laugh, but there's proof out there. The CEO of Ford went to the Xiaoming factory, bought their car, which, by the way, the most amazing car today, if you want to see the most advanced car today at like the public level price, let's call it, right? A little bit over the price, but at that, Xiaoming, check it out. They don't sell in the United States. Can't get it, unfortunately. But the Ford CEO brought bought one and was able to get his here. And his idea was to dissect this car, take it apart, and figure out why it's so awesome. He didn't. He kept the car because it's so awesome.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
It's his now personal car, and the technology, the software is there. And I always tell people, the reason why I got the Ford is they are a car manufacturer. They do the car correctly. Software, we're not there yet. Obviously, I'm not going to try to argue with anybody that Ford can. You can auto drive a Ford. It can't. It's not that smart. Yeah, it has the things like I mentioned right now, but it's not that great. But it's got potential because the day that the software comes out, I just downloaded it off the internet. Boom, my car is now, high tech, where, any other car that is not built as a car, they are a software company, let's say, they're going to have to upgrade their system.
Yeah, right.
They're going to have to upgrade hardware, which makes it way more difficult, way more expensive. More likely, they're not going to do it willingly. It'll be kind of like the iPhone. It's like, hey, trade in your iPhone. You know, it's like, why? It's like, oh, you get a quarter inch less bezel. It's like, that's it. It's like, yep, everything else is the same.
So we're talking software upgrades here.
Yeah. Software upgrades. You can just download it
Wow.
anywhere, and we do get it all the time. It's actually kind of very interesting. The battery starts increasing the range every time because they make it just on the software side more battery friendly, I guess.
Okay.
And I remember when I got the car, it only had 200 miles on it, max range, even if you reset the history. Now it's at 230. I did see it at 250 at one point, but I think the way I drive, it's, it kind of shaves some years off, kind of like,
Yeah.
Got to get some years off, but it's interesting that every time there is a software upgrade, there is a potential for that, and you do feel it in the car as well. Like when I first got the car, a lot of it was like turned off and just say, hey, I don't care, just all the power to the motor. And so you tap on that gas on that skinny pedal, you are gone. Now it kind of like, okay, let's take it easy. You will go fast, but let's get you there smoothly.
Right.
And because of that, you're no longer overpowering the motor and forcing too much of the battery. It gives you more range.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So that's just like one taste of AI, how it's just immediately affecting things. So I know you're really into games. Can you talk about how AI is transforming games, or how it will be?
Yeah. So I really wish I could have brought my friend. She's very big on the AI world creation. Maybe a future day, but it's the main thing is I do love, as a hardcore gamer, I like replayability of a game. I don't want the same thing over. If I played the same game twice, I want to be able to do it differently, right?
Yeah.
Make different decisions, go different paths. And even if I do the same path, it would be amazing if it's not the same. If I try to follow the same exact path, the story changes. Like, I would love that. For me, that's AI getting into the gaming area that I would love to do. Problem is, that's a scary thing for me. That's I'm in the gaming industry and content creation side as well. So for me, that's super scary because I still have a bunch of tutorials out there. I have over 700 videos, so it's like all those videos could possibly be useless in the future, and I will no longer be able to do them. Why? Because I can't tell you, hey, just go here, click here, kill this thing, destroy this wall, and you're gonna get what you're looking for. That guide will no longer be relevant because it can literally be anywhere.
Yeah.
And for me, that's a scary thought, right? So I want it really bad for the replayability, but I'm also very afraid of it. I was watching Force Gaming. Shout out Force. He doesn't know who I am. I know who he is.
Okay.
So he's a creator. He does because when I worked at Blizzard, I had to work with Diablo 4 community, and he actually is a Diablo content creator. So obviously I followed him, liked his content, and in November he put out a video about the upcoming games, right?
Yeah.
And he's talking about all the different types of games: survival, some horror games, Path of Exile 2, all the things that are coming out, right? And it was very interesting because I could tell that he has the same kind of thought processes as me, that these games are amazing, but oh my god, what will I do about that game? Like, literally, it's just gameplay videos. There's no tutorial. You can't teach people how to do things better. And you could see that he was kind of like, I don't know how to make content out of this, because, like it or not, like, people do like watching gameplay videos, but not as much as for anybody that's a content creator. If you're in the purple one, live streaming, you post on the red one, tutorial videos, and then there you tell them to go check out your purple one, because you're not going to get people from the live stream to the video, but you will get plenty of people from the video to the live stream, because people like to see the gameplay live, and possibly talk to you, but they won't want to watch a old gameplay video as much as a tutorial video or a how-to video or a DUI video, right? So you
Yeah.
start losing that market of how to, and that for me
Yeah.
is kind of sad.
Interesting.
I'm really sad that could be a possibility, that we're going to lose a lot of content creation, a lot of really awesome content creation. And I'll say it, man. Forrest does some really good content creation. So I'm like, hey, I appreciate it, but I'm very scared of losing him. And I have lost a lot of friends, content creator friends, who used to do all how tos, and they can see it. They can see it as well, and they're already moving on. They're
So
no longer content creating.
they can see, in other words, they can see the writing on the wall.
They can, and it's slowly creeping that way, right? As games start becoming more of that, more of a, you play this match for 10 minutes and then restart, right? It's becoming a lot more of that, a lot more of it's a storyline. You're a fixed storyline. There's no really need. If you watch me play it and watch, Force play it, it will be the same exact video, because it's a storyline that you follow. So either you're playing a storyline, or that's the gameplay. It doesn't change, which is kind of a problem. And content creators are seeing this, and it's kind of frightening, because, like I said, live stream does not attract as much new people for your communities, right? Especially when you're big. Think about it. The chat's going too fast. You're not acknowledging everybody. Which, by the way, shout out to the people that say
Speaking of not calling stuff
speaking
out.
of it, the chat's just going too fast, No.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways.
But yeah, you're not creating that reputation with that person, right? I know I go to a convention, someone's going to call me by my name. They're going to give me a hug, want an autograph. I might even know them by the name when they say it. I might not know who it is.
Right.
And then they say, oh, no, I'm Johnny824. And I'm like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
You asked me about that, that cruise ship. Yeah, exactly. So now you connect, but you won't do that once you're big. So that those moments most likely won't happen, because there's no longer small creators. Either you're already really big, or you can't make it there because you're not getting new users on the live platform. If we lose the how-to platforms, we lose a good amount of people, most likely, that create content.
It reminds me a little bit of kind of the shrinking middle class. Now it's more, okay, either you're rich or you're poor, and not so many people are in between anymore.
Correct. Yeah, and that's it's a sad reality, but it's funny, because we can't get completely angry at it, because great games are coming out of it. It's like, wow, these games are amazing. They're not, they're not. You're not consuming content. You're creating your own adventures at this point, which is great. I mean, I think that's the point of gaming, right? Move away from this world that you might be struggling, having problems, where you might not be able to walk, where you might not be able to talk. Go to a world that you can run around, jump around, talk. And I think that's it's great, because we're building this, and building this even better to make it way better for people to enjoy it. But at the same time, it's frightening, because that's an entire job line of thousands of people. I don't know how many people that you're gonna just cut, right? And it's kind of like the Uber thing, rideshare. As soon as you got self-driving cars,
bye
it's like,
driver.
That's great. But driving, it's like, ooh. And it's not even like, I'm not talking about people that don't have a job. I'm talking about people even that like once I have my job, I'm still gonna do a few runs, because, well, first of all, the benefits are amazing. By the way, just putting that out there. There are a lot of really good benefits for some of the driving things. You get, discounts on gas, discount on electricity, discount. I got free Costco for a year. I got Netflix. No, Netflix was for something else. But I got a bunch of free stuff and discounts, cashback, and all this really cool stuff. And I'm like, hey, cool.
Hell yeah.
Like just in benefits, I want to keep driving,
Yeah.
But I won't be able to do it because now I'm competing against something that's a cheaper price, that people are using more
and that's
often.
The problem.
Now it's safe.
That's the problem.
Safe. And they lose the interaction. They lose the ability. I mean, granted, this will probably come up next, right? This is like little baby steps. They're reinventing the wheel, but it's already laid out for them. So you're getting into a self-driving car. They're not going to tell you, hey, there's this really cool mom and pop shops. If you like Tex-Mex, go there. You're taking the person to a barbecue. And I'm like, oh, did you hear about these other 2 spots? If you like, honey barbecue, go this. Like, you lose that. You lose that because you're not going to have that at first. Maybe it'll get there. Maybe they'll put screens that you can like, they'll probably run ads in these. And I hate to say that. Like, I love ads because I know I've made a lot of revenue on ads, but it's like I don't want ads while I'm trying to take my Uber to
who wants
my ride
that? Right.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's a computer screen. You can start showing. Maybe it will tell you, hey, you're going to a hotel. Here are all the restaurants in walkable distance. It's like it could be good, but we're not going to be there yet. Just yet. We're going to lose that whole interaction, right? I give people recommendations. I talk to them. I give them really good experience, a personalized experience for them.
It's personalized. Yeah.
I will speak French.
I see what you're getting at. It's it's personalized.
Yeah, you can't just sell.
Exactly. Like, oh
yeah, you got to sell your personality now. Like,
yeah.
Yep. So you're gonna start going the big battle of price over quality, right? Do I want to have a nice experience, or I don't want the driver to talk to me? I just want to get from point A to point B. Okay, if that's your idea, okay, go to the
what's gonna get me?
I think there's an area for both.
The best bang for my buck. Oh, it's the robot. Okay, exactly. I'll take the robot.
But I'm from out of town. Every country I've been to, I've made friends with my ride shares and taxis. Yeah. Like I'm like, tell me more, dude. Let me know where do you go at the end of the night, at the end of your shift on a Friday night? Like, tell me. It's like, I'm not gonna ask that to a robot. I don't care if he has 1,000 recommendations.
Not the same.
Analyze my bloodstream. Yeah, it's like analyze my bloodstream and find out the perfect recommendation for me according to what I know I like. It's like, I don't care how advanced you get. Nothing will beat a person telling me in real life a recommendation, because I know that person most likely isn't getting paid to.
Yeah, because they'll be like, "Oh, I went to this bar, and there was this great band playing. Check it out." Like, the robot's not going to know that. The robot's going to say, "Yes, this is a place that has live music," but like, you're not going to actually get that recommendation of, "Oh, head here because they have really good bands."
Yep. Yeah, and they're definitely not going to be giving. I just imagine I took somebody to a place that just had a shooting the other day, and I'm like, "Hey, you sure you want to go there?" They're like, and then they didn't know. They're like, "Well, let's not go there."
Oh wow!
And I'm like, hey, it's still a good spot, and it's the first time in 10 years that this place has been open that there was a shooting. But I should let you know, it was last week.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons we're really pivoting into this podcast, because like the software industry is a lot of layoffs. Like, personality is one of the last frontiers left that's going to be really hard to automate away. Like, are you really going to try to interact with a robot, listen to a robot podcast or something,
Yeah, it's like, hey, would you rather have a conversation with Siri, or come watch a podcast? Like, it's like I think I'll vote podcast every time, no matter what. It's like, maybe I don't even care about the subject that's going on, but it's real. It's real. It's unscripted.
That's hitting it. You're hitting on a key there. Hitting on the head that it's not scripted. And like what me and Kevin do, it's completely unscripted. It's completely freestyle, improvisational. You're never going to get that. I don't want to say never, but not anytime soon are you going to get that with a robot or an AI.
And I think it was funny for anybody listening here. And I can confirm that this is unscripted. The day I was invited here for the first time, I think it was Brian who said, "Yeah, come out. I'd love to talk to you." He, I guess, saw my LinkedIn and all that, and I'm like, "Okay, what's going to be the topic?" No, anything. I'm like, "What?" It's like we're just going to talk. I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, you're like, what? What do you mean?
It's like, well, this is the first. I mean, I'm used to doing interviews, right? I gave many interviews, all over the world, and you have to send them the script first, at least the general script, like what kind of question you'll be asking and all that. So there's at least a little bit of a guideline. So I'm always very well aware of that. But whenever you told me, no, we'll figure it out as we go. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, it's unusual. I mean, me and Kevin, I think, are both into jazz, and we like that improvisational style when it comes to like speech and just the whole podcasting game. We like the freestyle element of it. I think we both really enjoy that part of it.
Yeah, I think.
Well, if you're ever in Austin on a Tuesday, I got the spot for us. There's a cigar club that meets up. That I don't smoke cigar, by the way. I think it's a whole like club like group thing that I like. The whole being with the same people meeting up for a reason on the same day. I don't know. It feels good. It's kind of ritual, right? In a jazz club, and these guys are amazing. Live band. Patio area with now, because it's cold, fire pits. Amazing. Highly recommend. We'll go every Tuesday.
Yeah.
I was wondering, can you go into a cigar lounge if you don't smoke?
Yeah, it's difficult, right? People will look at you funny for sure. I definitely get people like looking at me. It's like, this guy is in the middle of like a group of everybody, smoking the cigar.
And he's just sitting there. Smoking. Yeah. What's this guy's deal?
The conversation is good. The conversation is amazing. These are cool people. It's a cool ambient. It's like, I love it. I don't care what you're doing. I'll still be there.
Yeah, I think as AI becomes more prevalent, the way to kind of stay ahead is to create more genuine human experiences. You got to be able to create and monetize that somehow.
I agree. Yeah, you pay for that, the humanized experience.
Yeah, because like right now, I don't think anyone else is delivering this kind of personalized Brian and Kevin show. Like what robot is doing that right now?
Oh no, which by the way, you just popped in my head, which is very funny. That I see the future of, like, you see these robot restaurants, right, where they're now using a bunch of like tap screen. The robot brings the food to the table. These are the cool ones to go to now. They're the unique ones. But the moment that becomes a normal thing, the place that starts opening and bringing back customer service will take over again, and it will be the unique place that everybody will pay the extra money to go see.
Exactly.
Could you imagine that? Like, actually having human interaction will be a premium.
in a strange future. Yeah, I know what you mean, man.
It's kind of like that in Japan. Like, you can rent like people to be your friend, or I guess like people are so isolated and lonely. So.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the whole premium thing. That's for me is it's scary to think about that. That the whole what I love to do more, interact and talk is soon going to be a premium. It's like,
going to be eliminated in a lot of cases. Yeah.
Well, they're cutting a lot of possibility to do it, right? Like I feel like even offices are doing that. Like, okay, well, we're not doing the remote thing anymore. Okay, that's fine. We understand, all the pandemic lowered, but and we're going back to the office. But the office I feel like the offices. And correct me if I'm wrong if you heard this differently somewhere else, but I feel like all the offices are no longer doing the things they used to do. Like, there are people that a couple of companies that I worked with, that I know that every Monday we had
Yeah.
donuts,
Oh, right.
and it was always the same time because you would want to go there, eat the donuts, and hang out with your coworkers for a
Yeah.
little bit. It's 10 minutes of
Socializing.
talking,
Yeah.
and they're not doing the donuts anymore. I'm like, guys, it's not about the donuts. It was never about the donuts. Really
You're
don't
just
care
trying
about
to
the
get
donuts.
people
I can bring
together.
my own donuts.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of companies took that away when we're returning. There's a lot of companies that used to do stuff, and they don't no longer do it because, oh no, we're trying to still be safe. And I'm like, what? Then why am I at work?
Yeah. I
If I'm safe enough
mean,
to be at the office, I'm safe enough for us to do a social
exactly.
event.
Why do you think companies are pushing so hard to be back in office? Because I'm seeing this from all different angles.
By the way, that's one of the guys in the chat there, Reaper. I do have to do a shout out for him. Hey, Reaper. He's actually one of my Gus Pro guys.
Oh, awesome.
This is my company.
Awesome. Yeah, can you tell us about Gus Pro? Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah. So the intent, we have a big plan, right? We're gonna start small. We're developing 2 platforms right now. To give back to content creation. That's always going to be a deep passion of mine, right? I know how hard it is. I've been a content creator, and I've been in the hiring side of hiring content creators, and I know how difficult it can be. So I actually developed a solution, and my team, we have our designer who came up with the styles, and all that. We have Reaper's actually my editor. He's been making the videos that I told you about, the educational videos, which is awesome because I do it in English, and he's actually Brazilian, so he has to try hard to be able to make the video good when you can't understand all that is being said. I know he can understand a little bit.
I see.
But he does a great job even not understanding. So we were going to launch those 2 platforms. Those 2 platforms are just to get the name out there. Like I said, I want to put my name on things, get people to understand that the brand is quality, and we're committed to certain things. My next project is a 5-year project that I do want to do with the camera crew that I told you. It's a challenge for me. This is actually why I'm doing the interpreter as well. I want to learn to do literally everything. I feel like everything is too easy, and I'm like, I'm gonna go find something that I can do.
Yeah.
So I
Switch it
have a
up
big
on
plan
them.
that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wanna throw myself into anything, anything and everything I can, and I do have plans on helping people opening their businesses. Right, like I said, I work with a lot of businesses right now for free. I just
Yeah,
help them
right.
out, and I see them having success. I want to be able to give other people that, not only teach people, but teach by example. It's like, guys, look, even in a bad economy, it doesn't matter. We're gonna figure this
Yeah.
out, right?
We're gonna
It doesn't matter what time of the
we're
economy
gonna
it is.
figure this
We're gonna
out. It
figure it out.
reminds me of a story I heard about one of my friends. He's like, really, really into his job. He's a sound engineer. He's really into his job. And I remember he told me one time, he's like, I need to know everything. I need to know how everything
Mm,
works. So like if someone doesn't know their job, I'll be able to step in and do it for them. And one of his buddies is like,
yep.
it's not possible to know everything. Like that's why there's specialties.
Yeah, but it's not being the best or being able to do it. It's like I'm learning medicine enough, but not to do an open heart
Right,
surgery.
exactly.
I'm just, it's like if somebody's choking, the common stuff like, oh, somebody's choking, I'm not going to, flip them on their stomach. It's like the simple stuff, is enough for me. And actually just procedures and who should I talk to? Who should I look for if it's happening? So it's gaining knowledge to also who you should reach out to. Who's the right person?
Right.
So it's a 5-year plan, and all that money, any money that I do make on that project, is actually going to be rerouted. So I actually have a 10-year plan that I would love to open up a private school for free, online,
Oh, hell
multiple
yeah.
languages, teaching people how to get into the different job markets. by speaking to professionals. So, oh, you want to be a writer? I have a award winning writer that I live with. I'm gonna ask them, hey, what took you? What? How did you get started? How what's an
So
editor?
you would really be giving back to your community with a project like that. It sounds
Absolutely,
like
absolutely. And
awesome.
then the idea is the college is not a course specific, is a street smart college. And what that is in my vision, right, is when I went into my first company, no one showed me how to set up a email box. The moment I became a master at email boxes, I would not miss an email. I would not, it's like auto responses would be perfect for certain conditioning. Started putting rules and all that. I built this ultimate reply tool. No one will teach you that. No one will teach you that. I want to offer that to somebody. Um, even research, Google, or any search platform. Most people don't know that when you pull up your browser, it will prioritize finding results in your city, your country, your state. There's a code that you type into the URL that will open up globally, and most people don't even know that
Oh
exists.
wow.
Um, exactly. so and if you do search, if you type something out, right, every single word you typed out, it has a chance to show up in your thing. So in, the, on, all these
Yeah.
little words that you're putting in is actually getting in the way, but most people don't know that. And one step further, they don't know that if you put quotes in any part of it, it will prioritize exactly that. If you misspell it, it will find the misspelled. It's like
Yeah.
it has to be the exact same, and most people don't know that. And this is the kind of course that I want to give back to the community. It's like, hey, come check out some of these courses. They'll be quick. They'll be like, most of them will just be hints, and you get credits. And I want to work with colleges and say, hey, can you work with me? Give them a little bit of credit once he gets into your college. That will
Yeah.
get people into college. It's. I feel like it's giving back at a global level, and
It
like
really is.
if I
Yeah.
die, if I die and I can make the world a better place, even by 0.0001%, I did my job. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, leave it better than you left it. Just try to leave a
Exactly.
legacy of something that's important and something that's given back to the community. I mean, I know, like I've told Kevin, I would love to either buy or open up a vineyard, just because I think I don't even drink wine. That's the funny thing. But it's just so, I've been to some nice vineyards in Santa Barbara, California, and it's just so beautiful and so peaceful. I'd like to do something like that one day.
Oh yeah, and I recommend it. It is amazing. I absolutely love it. And if people haven't gone to vineyards, even if you don't drink wine, they are beautiful. The
It's
history
such a
behind the
nice
vineyards are
experience,
usually
is
pretty
it?
cool. Yeah, yeah. It's a good weekend.
But yeah, so you kind of mentioned that you're assisting people who are doing content creation. Like, how has the dynamics of content creation changed, and how do people prepare for that?
So yeah, it changes fast. The internet changes every day. Like if you blink, you missed out. Um, and content creation is not different. You know, people are always having to look for hype items, and by the way, bringing AI right back into the. This is why I don't believe AI can keep up with humans in this aspect, because it will look at what's being hyped, and they'll do that, right? Because they know that works. It's a confirmed. They need data. The computer needs data that's going to work, or it thinks it's going to work.
Interesting.
Where a human will throw something completely crazy into the wall. For example, throw a slushy cup into your car, and all of a sudden it blows up. It's like, who would have thought that would blow up? You know, no one would imagine. Throw a cheese at a baby's face when they're crying. It's like, what? How do you come up with that? It's like, I don't think AI can pull that off.
Unlikely.
Like
Yeah,
what
unlikely.
It's like, what is it going to do? It's like, the senses in a baby's face have these particulars that will activate. So let's see what happens if you throw a cheese. Like, that's how crazy AI would have to think in order to come up with something like that. Where a human, they just go, a baby is crying, it's hilarious, let me throw a cheese at it.
Yeah,
And
and I
happens.
think, with AI replacing jobs, yeah, it is going to happen. And yeah, we've probably already seen some of that in like UX or graphic design, seeing jobs being replaced
Mhm.
by AI. But I think a lot of this stuff is going to take longer than people think. Oh, AI is going to replace humans. Like, it's not going to be overnight. It's going to be, one segment gets replaced. Okay, then you have Uber drivers, they get replaced. Like, it's going to be one piece at a time, don't you think?
Yeah, but when I have this discussion with anybody, I tell them to think about it this way, right? I've talked to experts, and I believe you guys brought experts in as well, where you show an image to an expert, to an artist, they know if it was human made or AI made. They can tell the difference,
Yep.
right? Well, but they're trained. They can identify. I created my song. I produced my own song. Yes, I used AI to help me. Duh, I'm not an artist. Um, the moment I gave it to the band so they can help me record it, they laughed at me and they said, "This is AI." And I'm like, yeah. It's like you're giving it to people that know what they're doing, and now they go. So standards become very high at some point, and regular humans will start seeing the difference as well. Not only artists, not only trained artists, people will be able to tell the difference. And then you're going to start going, oh, but AI can do things faster. But there's a triangle which we talk about for quality, speed, quality and
Trade
price,
off.
right?
Yeah, we're talking trade off.
Yeah, the trade off. Exactly. You're putting in speed. Let's talk manga,
Yeah.
right? You're throwing out every 2 weeks. You got to throw out a new episode, right? Or I don't know how fast it is. Sorry, guys. My Japanese coach are unfortunately very low. But there's a high demand over there, and there's a high expectation. So the art, you can see it. It's sketched. It's not a final art. You look at it. You give any little one of those little squares into a artist, they're going to tell you it's missing shading. It's missing details. The lines are over scribbled. They will find so many flaws on it because they did it fast. That's the point. You lose
That's
the
the
quality.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's gonna get to a point where you're gonna start seeing loss of quality, and normal people, not only experts, will start noticing the difference, and they're gonna want to start prioritizing human made because they would feel like they're being cheated. Obviously, there will be people that will be all over speed because if there wasn't people like that, manga wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Like if low quality wasn't a thing that some people would be okay with, Minecraft wouldn't be a thing. It's like, really, you're playing blocks. It's like,
yeah.
the game is amazing. The playability is amazing.
Like, it
But
kind of
you're
makes me
sacrificing
it makes me think
visual.
about, okay, you walk into a CVS and there's either just robot assistants or just self checkout, and there's no human, at the desk, no human to check you out. Do you go back to that CVS the next time, or do you go over to Walgreens that has the human still at the checkout? I think that's an interesting question. Do people prefer a robot, or do they prefer a human still?
Yeah. And the fact that you can this the discrete and the reading. Obviously, some humans can't really read the room,
Yeah.
but hopefully the ones dealing with customer service are a little bit better on it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I got a call, and I can't talk about details, but the person was very shy about the problem they were having, and I could tell they were being shy about it, and I made it a little bit funny, and now they opened up, right? They're like, okay, I'm a little bit, I can say it now, I can say what the problem is now. I feel more comfortable, and so I opened up that, and I would love to see an AI do that. Like, hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Let's get to that point. But can we get to that point fast? Because humans are already at that point.
Right.
I can open up and have you trust me and say, hey, what what's the price check on, small condom? It's like, like, I'm not going to blur it out. Like, I already know that that's not a good thing to do. I'm going to go check it out myself. I'm not going to tell anybody, where a robot might have that speaker that, you're having a conversation with it. Everybody behind you is going to hear it. Either that or you don't ask. Either you don't get the information or everybody hears about it. Oh, but now you do a touch screen. You can kind of cover it with your body. I'm like, come on, really, guys? Like, is that the argument we're using? It's like, no.
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to get the customer experience.
It's going to drop off.
Obviously,
Yeah,
like I said,
naturally, it's going to drop off. And like you said, then companies will probably start to hire humans again or bring in more of a human-like touch to the business so they can get better, critiques.
Yep. And I absolutely love who can do both. If you can use AI and personality with a human, I'm in love with your store, your whatever you do, because there are stores that, hey, I'm in a hurry, I just need to grab something. Whereas you get to the little computer, you type what you want, it tells you what aisle it's in, and you go grab it. Like, hey, we're using AI, we're using machines to help us get there. If I need to get from A to B, get me the selfless, the driverless car. They know the best way. They're analyzing every single map route possible. Okay, quick thinking, where the human's going to probably just do whatever the map tells you to do, right? Which probably it might be the same thing, but at the same time, it's like sometimes I just don't want to have the human. Okay, so let's have that. Let's have that option as well. Sometimes I do need to binge watch something because I'm on vacation for 3 weeks and I can't stand being on vacation because I like to work. And I just watched all my shows. I'm gonna go watch some lower quality, AI built stuff, to keep myself entertained for the rest of the week. I'll do it.
Yeah,
there's time for that.
It makes me think about remote work. Like, okay, you're working remotely 9 to 5 every day, and then you want to jump into Uber and just go, like, instead of driving over to the grocery store, you say, you know what, I'm going to take a Uber because then I get to have some human, connection, some human contact. Because a lot of people do work remotely, and, it's easy to just stay in your house and, order everything out and not really go out and interact with people. But that's part of society. Interacting with people is part of it. And I think the more that goes away, the more people are going to find themselves in a world of trouble.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're having like a loneliness pandemic. Like, people are now willing to pay for interaction with other people.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I actually keep telling people Austin's dating scene. They made even like a documentary about it, how terrible it is, and I'm like, y'all got it all wrong. Austin's dating scene is terrible, not because we're not finding others. It's because the dating scene is so amazing. No one wants to get together because, like, literally, we have get-togethers. We go bowling. There's so much activities that they put together. There's like groups putting together that I don't want to find somebody. I want to keep going to these. When I was dating, I was still going to these, and my girl knew. She was okay with it. I wasn't trying to find a girl. I was going for the activities because it was super fun. Boat trips, masked balls. It's like, it was super fun. It was super fun. Then human interaction, and obviously the pandemic stopped all that, and they were trying to do it online. It died off. And I remember BlizzCon. For anybody that is in the gaming industry or in the gaming world, BlizzCon. BlizzCon was amazing. They tried to take it virtually. Oh, it failed so horribly. They're like, there's no way. This is not. So we're like, hey, we're just not going to do it. If it's not going to be in person and get that interaction that BlizzCon is intended to have.
I think depending on the genre, depending on what it is, it's not really going to be created that interestingly with just robots or just with AI. You need that human touch.
And I tell everybody, I absolutely love automation. I love it. I took a fraud department for one of the companies I work for. I noticed that everybody was very, very upset every time they come out of work. I'm like, what do you mean? You work at a gaming company. You should love life. And I'm like, let me take your job for a week. for a spin.
For a
This is what I do.
spin, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, there's no way. And so a weekend, the people were coming in and watching me sing as I'm doing fraud, and they're like, "What in the world?" I'm like, "Dude, this is the best."
What's
And they're like,
going
"What?
on here?
No,
What's going on?
it's tedious. You're looking up stuff, you're copy pasting a bunch of data." And I'm like, "Oh, why are you doing that? This is what robots are for." So I actually created a tool that would actually do all the copy pasting perfectly, so you get no human error anymore, because copy paste, 1,000 lines in a day will probably grant you a couple of errors as a human, but a robot can do it 10,000 a day without errors.
Right.
And it's like, why are you doing something a computer can do? Like, this is the kind of stuff. Data crunching is what AI is best at.
Yeah,
We should
and
use it.
I think when we're talking about like job replacement, what jobs are going to go first, I think a lot of sad to say, but a lot of these front end development, React, Angular, a lot of this stuff's going to go
Mhm.
away. I mean, look at already what Wix is doing with AI. I don't know if you're up on that, but you could just,
A
they'll
little
ask
bit.
you like X amount of questions and then they'll just create a website for you. So it's,
My website's that Gus Pro is actually built with Wix. That's why I
yeah,
know
I
about
have
it.
Wix too. I have Wix too for my site, and I made it with the AI tool because it just asked me like, okay, what's your business? What genre does this fall in? How many years experience do
Hey.
you have? And it wrote up this summary. And I was like, wow, this is a really good summary. I'm not going to edit it at all. I'm just gonna go with what the robot,
Mhm.
wants me to say here. And I think front end development, that's going to be a place where a lot of jobs are going to get replaced. Back end, it'll probably take longer, but at some point, the
Yeah.
AI is going to figure out how to do databases, and it's going to be a wrap at some point.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm all for it, but I feel like even for the fraud department, right? A 6-hour job now became a 20-minute job. Well, what do I do for the rest? I'm like, now you really dig in, because we were sacrificing, not going after the other people affected and allowing this thing to be out of control because we didn't have time on our day shift because we're crunching numbers. Now you have 5 hours to go get those people and start really trying to stop the problem, and it did. Fraud on that company died down to the point that the Chinese farming website, again, I won't say names, that was selling items on it, within 4 months, I think 4 months, 3 or 4 months, removed our game from their list because they just couldn't get away with it.
Wow.
I'm like, now you have 5 hours to get these people. Go stop fraud.
Exactly.
It's like, stop crunching numbers. Let AI do it.
Let the
Like, you're not gonna lose
robots,
your job. Just
let
go
the
do something
robots
that the
do what
robot
they're
won't do.
best at doing, and let humans do what we're best at doing. Kind of like us talking here tonight. Like, this is a very
Absolutely.
uh, humbling and very human experience with great amounts of humility and openness and tenderness and care and joy and love. I mean, you have all these human qualities thrown into what me and Kevin are doing here. And I'd love to see an AI bot try to duplicate this experience.
So you said Wix, and if I may, I would like to give a little bit of a sample of what I like to do is educate, right? Um, Wix, it became extremely easy for you to make a website, right? So easy that fraud is starting being used. Websites are legit looking websites are starting to show up. People sent you the link and you look at it, it's like, okay, this looks legit. Usually you go in and it's like, it looks like it was made in paint. You're kind of like, yeah, thank you, but no thank you.
Thanks a lot.
But here's the thing: these websites are so amazingly done and done in seconds. They can pump out like 20, 30 of them a day, or even more, an hour. And if they get found, they just delete it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It took them no time. And people actually started scamming with
So
these
we're
websites.
talking
And
like
I'll tell you,
phishing attacks.
yes. And I'll tell you the coolest thing I found out. And hopefully they don't hear this. But I found out that they're really bad about checking the links, especially social media links. And if you click on their social media, it takes them to the default, FB slash Wix, like their default, without you going in there and replacing with your actual social. So if you ever find a website you're not sure, go check out their social. Make sure it's not linking to the Wix default.
That's funny
because it might be a scam site. Yeah, I found about 7 websites that were beautifully created.
Well, and even
And then
emails, they're getting more crafty with the way they're
yep.
disguising themselves. Like I had someone message me, "Oh, your Wix account is in violation. Da 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 da. Go on to this app, Telegram, and contact our support
Oh yeah.
network." And like if you've heard of Telegram, like a lot of
Oh
hackers
no,
use
yeah.
that.
Telegram is the no go zone for
Yeah.
any reason. Like somebody will ask you for money for pictures that probably isn't of them, or they're gonna try to ask you for money to stop a hack on your
Yeah, so
account
that's
that
it was
you're
trying
not.
to get me to go on Telegram to like clear my account. And then like I clicked on one of the links and brought me to a Wix page. And I'm like,
Oh no.
okay, like what's this all It was an AI bot. And I was asking it, what's it all, what is this situation? They gave me a customer service or support ticket number. And the Wix thing basically said, oh, we don't deal with customer service or customer ticket support numbers. And then I went and back and looked at the email again, and I noticed, oh wait, it's from like so and so at whatever.com. It wasn't at wix.com. So I realized it was a scam. But like the email looked very clean, very well written. No words were
Mhm.
mistyped. So yeah, these
Oh
scammers,
yeah.
they're getting
The
good,
AI
man.
did
They're
it
getting
perfectly
good.
for you. Yeah, so that was fun. I actually one of the videos that I put out was about don't get scammed, and I teach people it's like, hey, somebody tells you, hey, your bank is having issues, click on this link to resolve it. Don't click. You don't need to click it. If anybody's pressuring you to, you got to do it now. Don't click. Don't go. You don't, because 99% of most companies out there will give you a good chance. If you go to their actual website and log in, there will be a notification or inbox there. If it's not there, it's probably
Yeah,
not
and
real.
also like phone
Um,
calls that come in, scam phone calls. This one company, they tricked me because I thought they were working with one of my credit cards. So I figured, oh, okay, I need to pay this down, or they're going to come after me because they said they were going to, uh, they were going to proceed with like legal proceedings. And so I ended up paying this scammer like $300, only to then realize, oh wait, like this is a scam. This isn't my credit card company. So then luckily I was able to contest the charge and get the money back. They debited my account back like the $300, but just point proving is that these people are getting really crafty, really good at scams, and it's only going to get worse as AI develops. And like you said, if you can generate like 10 scam websites in a couple of hours, you're going to have a lot of possibilities to get people's sensitive information that way.
yep, absolutely. And and it's kind of really bad to think about it this way. But I almost feel like all some of these social medias went the right way. Buying the verified is an interesting concept, because think about it this way: if they had to buy each one of the domains that they're using on these websites, they wouldn't do it. They don't do it, even though they'll probably make more money if they actually buy it. A lot of these scam sites don't do it. They'll go for the free stuff. So if there's a little star next to a website, and I'm like, okay, this company is paying money for it, which by the way, I'm paying for mine, so I should get a star on mine, indicating people, hey, this guy's probably
Yeah.
legit. Um, Maybe the star changes color for however long that you've been paying. So people recognize, okay, this guy's been paying for this site for a year. it would have been shut down by now if it was a scam. It's like things like that. I feel like is nice.
That'd be
Obviously, the downside
useful.
is now you
Yeah,
become a
that'd definitely
target.
be useful.
Yeah, you become a target of somebody trying to steal your site in order to reuse your browser. But it's everything we do will have a downside, and we just have to be
Yeah.
honest.
No, agreed.
But yeah, those scamming things are usually fun to go. I actually did get scammed on purpose. A person tried to hire me, gave me a contract, everything. The contract was 20 pages long. I read all 20 pages. Everything looked perfect. There was no
Wow.
typos. I'm like, okay, that's easy to do. You get AI to do it,
Yeah.
or you just rip it off of a real company.
Yeah, or you just
But
take your word
it's
from word for word from a real company, right?
Yep. So this group was actually doing perfectly until I got smarter. So I was a social media position for a celebrity. Um, Unluckily for them, I know the celebrity, so I actually send them a message personally. And I'm like, hey, can you confirm that you are looking for a social media manager? And they said no. And I'm like, okay, good to know. So now I knew I was being scammed. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
now I'm gonna step on this trap, knowing it's a trap. Let's see how far it goes. It got to the point where they gave me a starting date. There was a introduction meeting. There was an introduction meeting. There was
Wow.
actually like a huddle. There was everything, and then they sent me, I think it was like 3K to buy my computer, right? And they're like, we want you to buy your own hardware. We'll send you the specifications. But before you buy, send us the link so that we can verify if that's okay, right? To
Right.
approve it. Even that sounded okay for me, right? There was no red flags there, partially, right? Obviously, somebody giving you money to buy something. The companies who usually send you the stuff, but okay,
Yeah, most
I'll buy it.
companies are going to say, all right, we're going to send you a laptop, we're going to send you a monitor, we're going to send you a cell phone.
And this is where it got interesting. The company said, no, that is too expensive for that computer. You can get similar here. And they sent me a link for a website that you can purchase the same exact computer for cheaper. And I'm like, there's no way that they had the exact computer that I had already saved up, or if they built it this fast.
Yeah.
You can if you have AI. And I'm like, the guy actually had to use AI to build a website fast enough to make a purchasable thing, tie their credit card information to that website in order to receive my money. Wow. And I'm like, this is next level. I'm like, I'm gonna hold on to this money. And so I called my bank. Obviously, I'm like, hey, can you keep an eye on this transaction? It's gonna bounce. I needed to make sure my account doesn't get closed, doesn't get touched. Obviously, I let my bank know. I'm not an amateur.
Yeah.
I love this world. So I told them this is gonna happen. I'm waiting on it. And sure enough, 5 days later, and every day they were like, hey, are you scamming us? Like, they were actually talking to me like I'm the one ripping them off. And they would call me on Zoom. It's like, hey, what's going on, dude? Do we need to get authorities involved? Like what did you not want the job? Did you just want to scam companies? And like they sounded like I was the one scamming them. For a moment, I almost believed it.
They flipped the script on you. Yeah.
And sure enough, 5 days later, that money disappeared.
Yeah.
And they were still pushing it. And I'm like, this is when you messed up, because you don't even know that the check already bounced.
See, and yeah, the interesting thing with these companies is like, you never really know if it's real, like if they're threatening, legal recourse or whatever. I've read online, look, if someone's going to sue you, you're going to get it in writing. You're not going to have someone call you and say, hey, you did X, Y, and Z, and now you owe us, $500. Like, just from when you look up this stuff online, people say, yeah, like a lot of scams try to scare you with, saying their lawyers or their legal team's going to come after you. But, fact of the matter is, if you do get sued, you're going to receive everything in writing. So, just knowing that one fact, I'm able to spot a lot more scams nowadays, just knowing that. So,
Hmm.
as a
Yeah,
populace, we get
even
smarter as we get scammed over and over.
oh, absolutely. You start seeing the where they're messing
Correct.
up, and you're able to avoid it. And I
Correct.
tell everybody on all my communities for all my games, I'm like, if somebody in any gaming company, and I always tell people, I will say something and I'll ask if somebody knows somebody that does it differently, let me know, because I would love to meet that person. If a gaming company, anybody's saying that they're a representative for the gaming company and they're saying, if you don't give me the item, or if you don't give me your password, or if you don't do, you're going to be banned, you ignore it, because no company will do that. If they're going to ban you, they're just going to ban you, and you have to reach out to them and figure out why you were banned, and then they'll resolve the situation. Gaming companies do that. So never give anything to somebody that says they work for the company. It's just like, hey, if you work for the company, go ahead and ban me. I'll deal with it tomorrow. It's
Yeah.
like, let them do it. Don't accept the threat. For a game, it's just an account. It's like, they're not threatening to kill you. They're threatening to take pixels away from you. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, take my pixels. Tomorrow I'll call in and get my
I'll get
pixels
them
back. It's
back
like,
anyways,
you know,
right?
it's like, because yeah, it could just be a misunderstanding. It could be a real thing, but they won't threaten you. A company won't do it. They got better things to do. They're just going to ban you. And first of all, they're not going to try to call you, because that's shady. No, hey, this is Blizzard. Can you stop saying the F word in chat? It's like, what? No, they don't care.
Yeah.
Literally don't
Yeah.
care. It's like, they'll just ban you. And if as soon as you come talk to us, you're going to say, hey, please stop using that F word on chat. You're on ban. Enjoy your pixels again.
Right.
It's like, they're not going to threaten you. And that's kind of the funny part with a lot of these scams. Even if they're powered by AI, is they're going to try to threaten you and make it seem urgent.
Yeah, they always make it urgent.
Yeah. But yeah, these guys, they were emailing me and calling me for about 2 weeks. And I'm like, hey, can you just have, the celebrity, obviously I'm not going to disclose, the celebrity call me, and they're like, that is way over your pay grade, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, really? I have her, personal phone number. You could tell her, it's me, and they'll call me. And they're like, you think you're all-star? And I'm like, okay, dude. It's like, whatever you think, my friend. It's like, and they pushed it so hard and so well that I feel like if I didn't have the content up to the point where they sent me a link, I would have fallen for it, because up to that point, everything looked legit.
It makes you think, if like this is what consumers have and they're able to pull off something so sophisticated, like how much more powerful is like the military or government grade AI, and
Oh yeah.
like it could be used as a propaganda machine, pretty much, like create whatever reality you want for the people.
Well, and then that makes me think
Yeah.
back to our episode we did on Cambridge Analytica, if you remember that.
Right.
Basically a data science company acting, kind of as a fascist dictatorship, trying to get people to vote a certain way, try to get Brexit passed.
Yeah, I mean, and that's funny, because for me, that is a huge reality. Like, for Brazil, most of it's moved that way. Unfortunately, like everything is moved that way. You see, even singers and bands, you know, putting up signals, colors, things, sayings, in their performances, in their shows, to hint at a certain political thing, because obviously there's something going on. And it's like, it's so annoying, because you're flooded with it at one point, and you're like, in Brazil, I feel like you're constantly in it. There was actually even a point where the Brazilian flag, which I'm honored, for me, it's the most beautiful flag out there. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm Brazilian, but I love that flag. And the fact that I can't wear it because now it means that I am for one political party or another. Like for me, that brings so much rage, because I'm like, why did the community allow this to happen? Like, you take something as beautiful as our flag, something that has always been a patriotic symbol, and it becomes a one-sided argument.
Yeah,
And it was media. Media did it, right?
yeah, like
And the lyrics.
stuff like AI. I mean, you can instantly, all of our information is pretty much coming from AI. Like, even on YouTube, okay, it's a human saying it, but it's an AI is recommending the video. So, say I
Mhm.
want
Yeah.
to create descent, I'm going to recommend, man versus woman video or gender wars or political wars, and you can pretty much control how people feel. I think that's what Facebook got caught doing, was
Mhm.
they were experimenting with people's emotions by showing them different news posts on their news feed. So, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, and even the old school videos on the Red platform, they'll at the end of the video, it used to be you had to manually pick which video you want to put there, but now like AI kind of figures out each individual person that's watching the video which one should be there, um, as a recommendation of another video for you to watch, and I'm like,
Right. And don't you think ads are set up that way too now? Like they're
oh, absolutely.
totally directed towards, okay, this guy's coming out of this zip code. Let's go ahead and send them, ad AYZ or whatever.
It's funny because the guy that's here in the chat that I mentioned, he's actually from. I met him on my previous gaming company, and because I uninstalled the game, I guess my computer knows that, or I never had it in this computer. The computer knows I'm a gamer, obviously. So I get ads for that game all the time, and the reason why I actually came back to it was funny because one of the contents that I created just launched, because it takes some while for development. Uh, and it showed up. It's like, could you imagine, driving the ship? I'm like, really? I made that. Could you please stop showing it to me? It's like,
wow.
come on, please don't show me this stuff. And obviously, it worked because I downloaded the game, and I'm like, I got to see my content.
Right.
I'm kind of theorizing that's why they're really pushing like VR headsets, because it gives the companies 3D data. Like, not only are they able to see like what you're clicking, they're able to see what you're looking at, they see how you interact with it. It gives them like much more comprehensive data and a stronger profile on you.
It's
So,
just like
Well,
more data
in
points.
theory, they
More and
already
more
do that.
data points.
So in theory, they already do that. So they're rumors. I don't know how true they are. I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything, but that some already use eye tracking technology to use your camera on the phone. So when you're looking at a photo, it tells what you're concentrating on, and it actually sends that data, which I would
oh wow.
believe 100% that is real, because it is absolutely doable. First of all, like, let's talk IT side, right? It is something that is
Absolutely.
doable. Um, I've actually had a lot of fun. By the way, if you haven't, highly recommend playing a game or watching a video with eye tracking on. You don't notice it until something's telling you, hey, you're looking at that specific thing very often,
Right.
and it's like, okay, sure. But yeah, and it's actually kind of interesting, because even little things like different colors of something, it's like, oh, a diamond shows up on the side of the screen, and I look at that diamond, and it catches my eye every time a diamond shows up. It's like your subconscious, you don't even know it's doing that. Your eye is doing it. It's registering that diamond, and it's registering long enough that even the eye tracking software is actually being able to pick it up. Because obviously, if it's just in peripheral vision, and it's there, but you're not focusing on it,
Right.
it's not really important for your brain, for your subconscious. But if you're actually actively focusing on it, even for a slight second, the eye tracking will pick it
That's
up.
fascinating.
Yeah, it's really fun. We used to do streams for making people very uncomfortable by having them turn it on and watch certain videos, and they're like, it's hilarious. It is actually funny.
Like I can actually see like you know how they have Fitbit, like it tracks your heartbeat and everything. Like say you have we talked about gaming earlier. So say you're playing a horror game and it notices that you know you're more relaxed, and then all of a sudden it uses the AI to dynamically generate a scary scenario to get your heartbeat back up. Like I can
Yep.
see stuff like that coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, because you're not watching a movie; you're playing a game. A movie, you got predictable jump scenes, right? The jump scares, the music
Right.
dies down, all those tell signs. But if you take those signs out and you're reacting to the person that's playing, that would be amazing. Because at whatever point you think it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. And when you're least expecting for real, you're definitely going to be scared. That jump scare will definitely work.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I love the AI. Let's go down that path, but I am afraid of what it will bring, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like it could bring like a really entertaining, like it can really dynamically change games. But like, I guess y'all's the negative side is like, can this be used for propaganda, political reasons, etc., weaponized?
Content creation.
Right.
And to be honest, we haven't even talked about this in a while, and I don't know if you've ever talked about this. Um, um, Subliminal messaging, like how will that start showing up? Right now, AI can perfectly identify a moment to put something and give you the desire to act on it.
Right.
Right.
Hmm.
Um, for me, that's scary because AI will be able to absolutely, if you're tracking all my senses, my heartbeat, my eyes, my vision, my ears, you're tracking all that, my sweat, my temperature, all that. Trust me, you can get the times that I'm most vulnerable to throw something in. Again, not a conspiracy theorist at all, but it's absolutely possible, and that's been dying. That subject of subliminal messaging have been dead for a couple of years now. Like I haven't heard even about it for years. So when will it come back? Right? Things come back.
Oh
That's
yeah.
how the world works. Things
Yeah.
will come back. So when is it going to come back? When it's scary, when you're fully immersed on something?
Right. Yeah. I mean, if people can utilize this technology to get you to buy something, buy their product, is going to be a reality, or like vote for them or whatever.
Oh yeah,
And
and it's been proven that it works.
right. I suspect a lot of that's happening. Like, you know, the feeds are slanted certain ways. Like, okay, we identify this guy as politically leaning this way. If I want to push him over here, I'm going to show more of these stories. Like, you know,
Yeah, and that's what Facebook or Meta was doing with Cambridge Analytica. They're showing ads to push someone to the left,
Specific.
push someone to the right, and really just manipulating elections. It's scary stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, does let's take it back to World War, right? It happened back then. Obviously, like I said, it comes back. It just came back. Facebook, it will come back again. Oh, excuse me. It's not going to go away. It's not. Anybody that thinks that this kind of stuff doesn't come back, you are absolutely crazy and out of your mind. Um, that's why we always got to be very careful of it.
right.
How much we
And
allow
like,
it.
do we really have free speech if they're able to like subtly influence you, you know, to such an extent it's pushing, it's almost controlling your voting decisions and your, you know, your access to information. Like I'm only showing you information to push you towards this direction.
Well, and like you mentioned VR, I think, yeah, VR, they're going to really use that as a control mechanism. And, it's like you've always said, Kevin, like, why do they keep pushing VR, VR, VR? People try it out, be like, yeah, it's not there yet, not quite there yet, but they keep pushing it. They keep pushing it. Now
Right.
Meta has their own. So you got to wonder, like, what's behind all of that? What's the motivation behind all of that?
So have you ever seen this anime called Sword Art Online?
No.
Okay, so basically it's an anime about like a new MMORPG comes out, and in order to play it you have to put on a headset So everybody puts on this VR headset, and they're they're in the MMORPG world. But then like something happens, and if they take the headset off, they die. Like there's a charge in the headset, it blows up. Um, so in order
Okay.
to be able to take it off, you have to beat the game. So I mean, that's an interesting concept, but basically, if enough people opt into this stuff, what's to stop like you know government, schools, or whatever from subtly punishing you via the headset, like if you don't
Well,
comply.
and everything, I always say like, everything that's meant to come in to help, well, turns into a weapon. It
Yeah,
seems, Iron Man don't
Yeah.
exist. But you think about it, it's like, oh no, we should definitely push for VRs. Could you imagine somebody that has terminal cancer, let's say, and you put a VR on them and they can enjoy the last, however long of their lives, enjoying the world and traveling the world and seeing things and tasting things. Maybe you get sent, you get to that extreme where you're getting other senses into it. It's like, yeah, who wouldn't want to give that to their loved ones? I would absolutely love to take my grandparents around the world. And could you imagine if it was an opportunity for you to be there as well? So you're actually there, but they're there virtually. It's like there are worlds that you can cross. There's borders that we can cross with technology that would be amazing. Yes, absolutely. But like you said, this could be something that you're going to take this last trip with them, and then it actually puts them out slowly, like in a good time of the day. Like, oh, I had a wonderful last day. I'm going to go to sleep here in this beautiful island in this hammock, and then they don't longer wake up. It's like yes, that would be amazing. I would love to put anybody out of the misery that way.
Yeah.
I would
That'd
absolutely
be
go
great.
for it. But they're not stopping there.
right.
That's not where it stops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always the thing. Like, this stuff can be used for tremendous good, but then somebody usually takes that technology and weaponize it. Like, the robot dog was really cool, but then somebody puts a flamethrower or a rifle on it, and now it's something else.
somebody tied a knife to a drone in one of the. I think it might have been the news, and I'm like, are you serious? You were gonna try to stab somebody with a drone in a public
Now,
place?
what do you
I'm like, what
think?
is wrong with
Talking
people?
about drones, what do you think the deal is with all these drones in New Jersey?
I, I think drones in general are a confusing thing. I actually had I'm part of a neighborhood like watch where I used to live, and they sent me a message saying, or they posted a message in the group saying that there's currently a drone landed in their backyard.
Hmm.
They would like to know whose it is and what the heck, and there's pictures of it and everything. It's
Yeah, yeah.
unlabeled. It doesn't look like a store bought drone. It was much bigger, and I'm like, what? People can build drones. It's like there's so much potential of what it could be. Um, that it could literally be like I introduced Rio de Janeiro into the game, right? I was flying drones all over a military base. They didn't know I was there, so they shot it down. But they did know I was there. Just that one post didn't know I was there. So it's like it could be that they're it could be something good, or it could be something random. It could be something that people are aware of what it is, but there are going to be many more other people that don't know, and they see a drone just randomly flying. It's going to be
Yeah.
shady. So I never can tell if something's, oh, it's a bad drone, it's a good drone. It's like, okay, until something bad happens and we can tie it to the drone 100%, I'm gonna opt to the side that just we just don't know who it was. It was some perv, trying to film
Well,
something,
yeah,
or it was somebody
there
doing.
was a recent story. All the fires out in California, LA. They have
Oh, they're routing
these.
the fires.
Well, no, there's this plane, these like water planes that like dive into the ocean, collect water,
Hmm.
then they'll go over like a hot spot, dump the water, fly back over the ocean. So and I think they're from Canada. They came from Canada, and this
Hmm.
news channel was saying that one of these ships like sucked up a drone and had to be what do you call it, grounded, had to be grounded, to be fixed. It couldn't be it was taken out of circulation because of this drone. And they're like, well, who was this? Who was, you know, driving around this drone when all these fires are happening? Like, what are they thinking?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's like not, a lot of people are not going to know the actual answer, and it kind of being in the industry that I'm in. Unfortunately, we know that there is not necessarily secret, but a lot of the things that we'd rather not say. It's like whenever we're making a decision if we should say something in the gaming industry, we usually say, "Hey, will it make things better?
Right.
If it is, then we should probably say it. If it's not going to make that big of a difference, if I don't say anything at all, and the same five people are going to stay upset, we're not going to say anything at all. Even though if the five people upset are making 15, 20 other people upset, we're just going to stay quiet. Let those people be mad. We don't need to talk about it. Now, the problem is because if I try to fix five people and we say something wrong, there's a risk that we're going to piss off 50 other people.
Right.
So it's better to just stay quiet and let people speculate on horrible ideas that make no sense at all than to say something on it and possibly piss off other people, more people, or the wrong people, right? So it's kind of like, because I'm in the industry, I always think that way. That like, even if somebody knows the answer, they're probably just like, not a lot of people are pissed off or good. Let's just keep it that way. Um, you know, it's I try to opt to that side. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just me trying to be positive, and hope that the community is a good community. I'm not saying they weren't doing something wrong. They could. If they're being quiet, a lot of the times they were. So if they don't want to say it, they're protecting themselves. They're protecting somebody. They're protecting whatever they're protecting. I'm gonna respect it, because if they think like the gaming companies do, that's what's happening. It's just, if they say something, it could be
Right.
worse. It could be interpreted as worse, even if it isn't worse. It's a big problem when it comes to that. So it's kind of annoying, but all this drone talk, I'm not super concerned about. I'm actually pro drone, especially taxi
Well,
drones.
if they were
Because
from
I believe,
China or they were from North Korea, they would have been shot out of the sky.
okay,
For
yeah, and,
sure.
and and
Yeah.
that's the thing. You see a drone, it's a drone. Follow
Right.
Exactly.
it.
Yeah,
you
exactly. Yeah,
know,
where's it going?
then make the decision. Yeah, it's like, just because it's over whatever or doing whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean that's bad. Okay, wait, it has to go back somewhere, or it's going to be destroyed, or
Yeah.
it's like if it goes, oh crap, I can't take it back because they're going to know what I'm doing. I'm just going to drop this in the middle of the
Yeah.
ocean and just call it a loss. That's fine. That's a minus a drone that they have. It's like, hey, I'll take it. It's a win. It's a win anyways.
Yeah, right.
Until they get another drone, we know, and now we know where it came from. Now you put surveillance towards that area. If another one comes from that, you can start tracking where it came from slowly. It's like, I
Yeah.
don't know. That's why I don't worry about drones too much. Just I have that thought process that doesn't worry me.
Well, I guess let me
And like I
to
was
change
saying,
gears slightly. One final question I would have for you is, for people that are green, people that are entry level, they're trying to break into the gaming industry, the game industry. What's the number one tip you would have? What's the best advice you could give to that entry level person?
in 2025, no, I'm just kidding. Uh, the industry's
Just
been
quit
rough.
quit while you're
In many,
ahead. Yeah.
yeah, quit while you're
Yeah.
ahead. Sell cookies. I don't know, something else. Um, but even when the industry is difficult, it's only difficult in specific areas. People aren't trying to hire social media. They're not trying to hire marketing, and the reason for that is they believe AI is going to be able to do it. Great, but they're not going to. AI is not going to collect a paycheck, come to our meetings, and do the things. So somebody's going to have to do it. So if you're wanting to go into that area of gaming, even development or anything, go without being scared, but start where everybody starts. And I tell this, and not just for the gaming company. I even tell this for hotels, management. Anytime you want to start, go do the starting jobs. Go do front desk. So in the gaming industry, go do Q&A. It's an entry level position, and customer service. It's like, oh, but how will I learn about games going to customer service? I can tell you, most gaming companies, unless you're working for a third party that does gaming customer service, and I'm telling you, go into a company that has their own customer service and they don't third party it. But if you go into one that they have their own, you're going to have plenty of opportunity to touch other departments, including, like I said, even if they do put marketing and social media for a robot, someone still needs to do it. They'll get an underpaid, customer service rep just to look at that as their secondary job. They do that all the time. You get your feet, in the water, you get your feet into the door, and then all of a sudden you're going to be, as your secondary job, doing whatever you want. And let your manager know. A lot of these gaming companies, they know they can hire customer service like very fast, so they don't mind helping you get to that location. A lot of the companies I work for, they actually do the training. They help you with training. They actually even pay for training in certain cases. Like, hey, I would love to know Photoshop. They'll actually pay you for Photoshop classes. Like a lot of them do. A lot of gaming
That's
do.
amazing.
They take care. Even if you're as low as a customer service rep, they take care of you. These gaming companies, again, gaming companies that have customer service, their own customer service. A lot of them are third party customer service. Do not even give them the chance to gel opening there. It does not work. Maybe Q&A, maybe if they do their own Q&A. And Q&A is super easy. You're gonna learn the ins and outs of the game, especially if you want to get into game development. You're gonna know what are the common mistakes, the common bugs, the common things. It's like, okay, how do people fall through the world? Who's never fallen through the world in a game?
Yeah.
You learn what to look for in order to do that, and you learn that. Sides of walls that can shoot in or shoot out of, and not shoot in and not shoot out of, like all that you learn as a Q&A.
So more or less indirectly, you're learning all these skills while you're just, your customer service rep, but you're learning stuff about QA. You're learning stuff about being a game producer, being a creative director. Like you may touch some of these areas. So I think that's really great advice to just kind of, enter wherever you can, whether it's QA, sales, customer service, just like get that foot in the door, and then you could move forward.
Now you're in.
Now you're in, and now you can move forward and potentially get the job that you actually want.
Most companies will hire internally when a position opens before they even announce it externally. So that gives you an advantage. Now, instead of you going against 9,000 other people that want that same spot, you're only going against 50 people that want that same spot inside the company. So you start ahead just because you're in it. And that's the
huge.
Greatest advantage that you can have.
That's major.
If you want to cheat, then my cheat sheet for you is, if you're trying to be something else in the company, go do it. Keep in mind, most companies will own anything you make. So if I create a game, so I want to be a developer, I go in and I make a quick click, cookie clicker game. Why? Doesn't matter. I can't post it. I can't sell it. It's not mine because the company will own it most of the time. But people in the company will start talking about it and playing it. And hey, can you test my game? Be sneaky about it. Hey, can you test it out? Check. Tell me what you think. And just because you're doing that, the right people are going to find out that you know how to do that, and you learn that skill. One of my really good friends, she was a storyteller, and I'm like, why don't you make fan stories of the fan art? What's the name of that? Fan lore? No, I forgot the word. But when fans make the lore, fan fiction, I believe maybe, about the things you have passion about. And she did. She started writing the stories about and this one I can actually say because she's amazing. It's World of Warcraft. So NPC in World of Warcraft that has no action is not part of any lore at all. She created a lore for that character, and the team, the storytelling team, found out about it, read her stories, and pulled her to come work for them as
Oh
a
my
story
God.
writer. So the two contents that last got released for World of Warcraft, which I am happy to say is probably it finally brought WoW's back, World of Warcraft back in the story sense, was actually content that she helped create, and like great people are discovered like that inside
That's
the company.
amazing.
And the cheat is go do it, make it your own, make it on your own, have zero expectations, but
Figure it
show
out.
people inside the
Just
company.
get in there and figure it out.
Yep.
Get your hands dirty.
And you might find out you're wrong. I thought I wanted to create a game. I wanted to be a developer. I created my own game
Yeah.
in Unity. Oh my God, I never want to see coding ever again in my life.
That's how I feel. I used to do React development. I hated it.
Yeah, no, Unity kicked my butt.
For sure.
Yeah, everything isn't for everybody, but yeah, man, we definitely went over time, but it was an awesome conversation, man. We're definitely gonna have to have you back again. But did you want to leave our audience with any closing thoughts before we get on out of here?
No, just thanks again for calling me out here again. I love it. I absolutely love our discussions and our talks. Thank you, everybody that came that know me here. I know there's some people there that I got messages going, I don't know what you're saying, but I'm here.
You got some fans. Yeah.
Yeah, I do a lot of Latin, so I do have a lot of Latinos and Brazilians that follow me. So I'm like, yeah, no, just hang out, you know. But yeah, so thanks for everybody that came out, said it. Thanks again for the invite. Would love to see if we can get some of these people. Like I mentioned, I do have a lot of people that have really good stories that can tell a very nice, information that can share. I'm very sad that Galactica couldn't come today. Hopefully one day we can bring her in. She is amazing. Probably one of the greatest social media managers I've ever had the pleasure to work with.
Yeah, we'd love to. We would love to talk to people like that. I mean, we interview all different positions, all different industries. We're more of like a general purpose podcast these days.
Yeah, I even actually sent out an invitation to somebody else that unfortunately he can't do it. But he was an actor, didn't really make it, and now he's actually making video game hosting, and he made it. He's bigger and bigger now. It's very interesting. I followed him very closely. I actually worked with him, helping him do some of the things. The studio that he uses was actually built by me.
Oh wow!
So it was actually I was able to be there very, very closely to his story, and his story is beautiful and amazing. So unfortunately, he's because of who he works with, he's not allowed to talk to me.
Yeah, man.
We're competitors.
Yeah, man.
Oh, there's rivals, and I'll tell you. This is not a really peaceful industry once you're in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Whoever you think has an awesome story that needs to be told, yeah, feel free to connect them with us, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, we love a good storyteller.
There you go.
Well,
yeah,
hey,
thanks
man.
again. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, appreciate you for coming in once again, and thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.